What's up, peeps? This is Todd and welcome back to my show. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the millionaire investing advice that you guys can start as teenagers. Now, I know that not everybody watching this video is a teenager, but for those of you who are, if you start implementing these things at the age of 18, you can absolutely retire a millionaire. So here are 8 things to do after your 18th birthday. Number 1, get a job. Now, this may seem pretty basic and it might not even be what you guys were thinking. Most of the financial influencers out there talk about starting a business or doing something a bit more entrepreneurial. But getting your first job when you're 18 will teach you valuable life skills. You can hopefully also learn a trade, and of course you can start making some money. For me personally, I've always had sales jobs where I could make a commission, and so I could make far more than what the minimum wage is. If you don't like sales or you don't want to have a commission job, that is totally fine, but just get some sort of job so you can have money coming in. The second thing to do after you turn 18 is to open up a bank account. You need somewhere for the paychecks for your job to be going, and I've talked a lot about new bank account bonuses on this YouTube channel. Oftentimes there are new bank bonuses where you can deposit $1,000 and they'll give you a $200 new account bonus. So when you get that first paycheck from your job, consider opening up a new bank account and taking advantage of that new bank bonus. Now, the third step you want to take after you turn 18 is to get a credit card. You want to start establishing credit and building a credit history. My personal favorite credit card that I use every day is the Capital One Quicksilver card. Right now, if you use the link below that's in the description of this video, you can get a $200 new credit card bonus after you spend $500 in the first 90 days. Now, of course, do not go out of your way to spend $500 just to get $200 back. That would be a $300 loss, and that's not a good idea. But if you're going to be spending the $500 anyway, you might as well get a $200 bonus back. This is also a great credit card for beginners, and you can use this Capital One card to start building your credit and start a credit history. But this leads me to number 4, and that is you want to avoid bad debt. Now, bad debt is when you go into debt for something that's either going to go down in value or it's not going to make you any money. So although I encourage you to open up a credit card, do not rack up a bunch of debt on that credit card and then never pay it off. You want to make sure to pay off that credit card each and every month. You don't want to pay interest on a depreciating value. Now, when you're young, if you can get away with buying a clunker car and spending a few $1,000s in cash instead of getting a loan for depreciating value, that might be the way to go. I am a big believer that I do not want to be paying interest on anything that's going down in value, and I certainly don't want loans out on anything that's not going to be making me money. Now, step number 5 is to live below your means. I understand this is easier said than done, and I also know this statement of living below your means is probably what makes the most people angry or upset. Because if you're working a minimum wage job for $7.25 per hour, it's really difficult to live below your means. But remember, the premise of this video is we're starting when you're 18. When you're 18, you might have the energy for a side hustle or even a second job. And so what I would recommend is working as much as you can, living on the bare minimum you can, so you can save as much money as possible. You're not going to do this your entire life. You're just going to do this in the early years. By working hard and living below your means, you'll be able to save up for a down payment on your first house, which actually leads me to step 6. And that is to house hack using a first-time homebuyer program. At this point, you're working a job or two, you've opened up a bank account, you have a credit card that you're using, and you're paying off every month, so your credit score is creeping up. You're avoiding bad debt and you're living below your means, which means you now have a down payment for a house. What you want to do is buy a single family home that you are going to live in. Use a first-time homebuyer program where you can put 5% down, 3.5% down, or even 0% down. You want to occupy the master bedroom and you want to rent out every additional bedroom in the house. This way you are living completely for free in a house that you own. The beauty of house hacking is it takes your biggest expense and it makes it 0. Your biggest expense is going to be housing. It's usually 1/3 of your pay. And if you can figure out a way to get your housing completely for free, think of all the money you'll have left over to save and invest. Now, step 7 is to really consider college. College is not for everyone. I should know because I dropped out of college. But college can be a wonderful thing depending on what you want to do. My wife is a CPA. She went into accounting, and for her role, for her position, she had to have a college degree. So really consider what you want to do later in life and understand if what you want to do requires a college education. If your goals and dreams do not require a college degree, well then it might not make sense to take on student loans to get a degree you won't even end up using. Really consider college. Talk to your parents, talk to a counselor or an advisor, and whatever you do, do not take on student loans to get a degree in a field that will not produce economic value. This is going to sound very controversial, but I'll just say it because nobody else will tell you. It is a bad idea to take on $100,000 of student loans to get a degree in gender studies or ethnic studies. I'm not saying that ethnic studies are not important. I'm not saying that you shouldn't learn about gender studies. I'm saying that there is really no way to make money in those fields. So if you're going to be taking on a boatload of student loans to get a degree in that, just understand, financially speaking, that is not a good investment. Now, step 8 is to invest in the S&P 500. You have a job, so you have money coming in, you are house hacking, so you're living for free. What I would do is the monthly payment that I would be spending on rent or that I would be spending on a mortgage that I'm no longer spending because my roommates are covering it, I would take half of that and save for my next house, and take the other half of that and invest it in an S&P 500 index fund. The S&P 500 has gotten a historical 10% return year in and year out. So if you start investing when you're 18 and you do that until you're 65, you will retire a multimillionaire just on that one account, not including your house hack or any other real estate you bought along the way. Now, as a bonus tip for staying to the end of the video, I would also suggest looking into a Roth IRA and maxing out a 401k with your job if your employer offers one. That's pretty much it for this video. I'll see you at the next one. Peace.